Hi, I'm John Ray, and welcome to the Thriving Podcast. I'm your host and intuitive coach, dedicated to amplifying your intuition, transforming your mind, and igniting your inner magic to create a life you're obsessed with. 2 years ago, I was burnt out as fuck in a toxic relationship and a successful tech career that I just wasn't happy in anymore. I left it all behind with no plan, and now I'm running my own business, immersed in purpose and passion, happily married to my soulmate, and living out my dreams every single day. And if you're badass enough to be listening to this podcast, then you're already on the fast track to doing the same, babe. On this podcast, we'll dive into all things life, business, heart, mind, body, and soul, empowering you to up-level your life and embody your happiest, healthiest, and hottest self. It's time to make idealistic your new realistic, because you're not just here to survive, you're here to thrive. Woo! Hello. I hope that didn't sound really obnoxious and loud on the microphone. Happy Thriving Thursday. Welcome back to the podcast. I'm so excited to be recording. I know it doesn't feel as weird for you because you still had episodes the past few weeks, but it feels kind of weird in a good way for me because I literally haven't recorded for the podcast in a month, literally a month, because I think I recorded that 3-part series right before I left for vacation, which was, literally, actually almost exactly a month ago. I think it might have been even literally on a Wednesday, because, I do be procrastinating these podcast recordings. So I am back from vacation, and I am back here on the pod, back on the mic. I did not check a bag to come to Iceland, but I did make sure to still bring my microphone. I threw it in my backpack, even though I did not have a lot of room, and it was kind of heavy. But honestly, my mic's not even that good, but I don't know. I just feel like it makes me feel more official when I have it. And also, if I don't use this mic, my only option is really a headphone mic or a little microphone and plug in earphones, which is fine. I could do that, but it'd probably be a little bit more annoying to hold. And since next week I'm doing the episode with Sindri, I was like, that's not gonna work well. I think we should have the big mic so it can pick up both of our audio. So anyway, here we are. Today's episode is just going to be a bestie chat, a little life update, because like I said, I've been gone for a month. And I just feel like with vacation and just so many things have been happening and changing. And just over the past month, I feel like it's time for an update. And I've been feeling like I wanted to have just a bestie chat episode anyway, because 1, I like it. 2, it's really easy for me. 3, you guys like it a lot. I know that basically me just spilling the tea about my life is the most exciting thing to listen to, more so than business advice or educational stuff, even though obviously you guys like that too and I like that too. But I jotted a couple notes before I started the episode just because I was I don't know, in case I don't forget that I wanted to mention something. The notes are almost nothing though. It's just vacation, Sindri, business. Basically, I want to give you guys a personal update, personal life, my personal stuff update, a love life update, obviously, and then a business update. I don't know if I'm going to go in that order, if I'm going to go in chronological order and just hit on every point. I don't know. I'm just going to talk. It's going to be an ADHD John Ray episode. What else is new? Also, I wanted to say, on the note that I haven't recorded or that I've been on vacation, you guys have still been consistently listening to the podcast, and I really have not been promoting it that much. I pretty much, while I was away or while I was off from work, just popped on to promote the episode the day it came out, and that was it. So it did not give the episodes a lot of promo, and my downloads have really not decreased at all. So thank you guys for being loyal and awesome and cool as fuck and loving the podcast. And every single episode basically gets at least 20 downloads on average, which is pretty sick, especially considering I haven't been promoting it as much. And if you are a loyal listener of the podcast, I would love to know who you are because I can see the city that you're in, but I don't know who you are because obviously I don't get names or anything. So just love to know if you are someone that listens to the podcast consistently, or if you like the podcast, reach out to me on Instagram and just say hi. Just drop me a note and let me know that you love the pod because I would just love to know and love to connect with you a little bit more because that makes me so happy. And I just want to take a moment to thank you for supporting the podcast and supporting me. Okay, so Where do we want to start? Yeah, so last time I talked to you, basically I just finished up Hot Girl CEO Summer Launch, and obviously that's what the whole series was about. I hope you guys loved that series. And then I went on vacation. And vacation was honestly so nice. And I just feel, I don't know, it was such a, I don't even know like how to articulate what I want to say, but it was very refreshing to me because I wouldn't say it was like a much needed vacation. Like I actually didn't really feel like I needed it, which is like kind of cool. One second, I need to get my cap for my cacao because I just realized it's going to cool down and then I'm going to have cold cacao and I don't want that. Okay. Yeah. Like it was awesome. I loved it. And it was nice because I realized like I hadn't really been on a true vacation in years probably. Like truly the last like vacation I went on, meaning like it was a trip just for fun and I wasn't working at all. And I, was just like totally free. You know what I mean? Was probably the trip where I actually met Sindri in London back in November 2022. That is the last true vacation I went on, I think, because not that I didn't do a lot of traveling since then, but basically it's kind of two things. Like, well, obviously for a while, like that first year, like from that point to like November 2023, I either wasn't working or then I started my business and I was in the early stages of my business where like I was super stressed and I was still working like 5 other jobs and I had like basically no money and no free time. So that was one reason why, because I was like, I literally just don't have time or money. Like I don't have resources to go on a vacation. And then the second reason, although, I guess, I kind of like used up because like when I left my job, that was like mid 2022. And then I traveled a ton, kind of like my whole year was like a vacation, like just like a lot of travel. I mean, I wasn't really working like I was, but I was mostly living off savings. Like the income I was making from the jobs I was doing was like minimal. So I kind of like used up all my vacation time. And then I will say like for a while after that London trip, I was like, I'm ready to be home for a bit. I didn't have any trips planned going into 2023. And I was like, that's actually good. I feel like I traveled myself out a bit. Also, I obviously like was going through a lot throughout that whole year, 2022. But so I kind of took an intentional break, like going into 2023 from travel. And it was kind of like I was on vacation because I wasn't like working a consistent job. Although, like I said, I was gigging a lot, which is like, it's so funny looking back because I was like gigging so much and I like was working a ton and making barely any money. It's just like so backwards. I remember like when I had that realization, I was like, okay, if I'm literally working like every single day and have hardly any time off, and I'm still barely making ends meet, this clearly is not the way. Like working more is clearly not the way to get to where I want to be. But anyway, so I took an intentional break. And then basically by that point then in 2023, I was with Sindri. And so for both of us, we kind of had to like take a break from like recreational quote unquote travel and like vacationing because they kind of just got replaced with our trips with each other, because we do not sacrifice, but like we do like take a lot of time and energy and, resources and money for flights and everything and time off work and all of that to spend time with each other. And we do like at least quarterly trips, if not more frequent than that. And so, that kind of just replaced that because like our extra money would like go towards that and our extra like time off work would go towards that. And they did kind of like function as a vacation-ish. Like when he would come to me, he would have to take off work because he can't work from home. And then I would kind of work less, and then when I would come here, it would feel a bit like a vacation because obviously I'm in a new country and we would do fun things in the off time, but I'd still be working. So, and I would do other trips to like visit family and visit friends, but I just hadn't had like a full trip where I wasn't working at all. And so that was cool. It was cool, one, to like just have it. Even though, like I said, I really didn't feel like I needed a break. Like, that's the great thing about like my relationship with my business now is like, I'm not burnt out. I'm like, love my job. I like really know it's the corny thing to say, but I really have created a life that I like don't feel like I need a vacation from. Like I truly feel like every day's vacation. I will say there wasn't much difference between like how I spent my days, like when I'm quote unquote on vacation and when I'm not, other than I'm literally not like doing work or like I'm not actually on going on Instagram and posting as much, or I'm with more people I'm in a different place. No, I won't even say I'm in a different place because, like I said, I still travel. So yeah, I don't know. Like I just have so much like I've really like come so far with my schedule and just, yeah, my relationship to work and everything. I was like really proud of myself, and it was like really nice to see like, oh, this actually doesn't feel that much different. You know, it was really nice because the one good thing about vacation, or not the one good thing, but like one of the really nice things about this vacation specifically was it was like a family vacation, and it was my entire family together. So it was like my mom, my stepdad, my sister, her boyfriend, my brother, my other brother, his partner, and then me and Sindri were all together for a whole week in this beautiful, beautiful lake house. And we actually, like, I haven't been all together with my family for that long of a period of time. Honestly, I think since quarantine. So that was really nice to get to spend that time. And it was also like very healing, I think, in a way of just like, obviously, like, you know, a little bit from like my story in the past, like quarantine was not the best of times. It was the best of times. It was the worst of times. Struck a match, blew your mind. No, what was I saying? Speaking of Getaway Car, if you don't know, that was a Getaway Car reference, Taylor Swift. And I was just thinking the other day, Getaway Car is absolutely in my top 5 Taylor Swift songs. And then I was like, I wonder if I could pick my top 10 Taylor Swift songs just off the top of my head without overthinking it. And I tried, and I think I could get my top 5. And then like when I started to go past 5, there was too many options and I got stuck and I quit. But my top 5 was, wonder if you can guess. Getaway Car, Clean, All Too Well 10-minute version, Woulda, Coulda, Shoulda. And honestly, I don't know if it might have just been a top 4. I feel like there are so many others that are like right up there, but then I'm like, but I don't know. Let's see. Tried to put them in a playlist. Yeah, that was the top 4. And then there was a bunch of like ones that I wasn't sure who got the 5th spot. So we'll have to do more thinking on that. But anyway, I told you I was going to get distracted. I'm just letting it happen. Just letting it flow. But yeah, so it was like really nice to like have that time with family. And it was like, just like, so of course, you know, like I was like, it's so funny. And it's like, really, it's not, of course it makes perfect sense. The universe like works this way. But I had like just right before we went on vacation, I had like kind of initiated this huge purge. And it was exactly around the time of the full moon, which was that second full moon in Capricorn, which if you like follow astrology at all, like there was basically 2 full moons in Capricorn in a row. And so it was like this huge release period. And I have some kind of physical purge at every full moon and like emotional. I don't know if I'm just like, because I'm so like I'm just so open to like that happening now. It's definitely intensified and emphasized if I was specifically like pulling something out or working through something like during that cycle. But it's like, even if I'm not, it's like, I'll still feel the difference. I don't know. It's cool. Like just super connected. But yeah. So anyway, it was exactly the time of that second full moon. And I had just initiated like this huge breakthrough around basically like needing to let go of this past version of myself from that time around quarantine. And just that whole time when I was super depressed and at that rock bottom, I hadn't realized like how much of that I was still holding on to and was like still unhealed and unprocessed. And because a huge breakthrough I had was basically that I was like holding myself back from joy and from expansion, you know, in all areas, from just like experiencing more love and joy in my life, because that part of me was basically holding me back because that was still alive inside and was basically like, you know, no, it's not safe to like let that in. And you know, it's funny because our fears and things like that, they always are so contradictory. And so it was really like a thing I realized that was happening subconsciously of like, I can't let myself get even happier. Because if I get even happier, then I might lose the happiness and then I'll be unhappy again. And that sucked. But it's like ironic because it's like, okay, I have to keep myself not as happy basically in case I get happy and then become not as happy, right? Like makes no sense. And it's funny because I was just actually working through this with a client yesterday too. So it's a very collective theme I'm seeing come up a lot, actually, this like just capacity for joy in general. But yeah, it was like, I was like holding myself back because it's almost like you want to control the pain in a way. And of course, it was all subconscious. But I realized that. And one of my coaches helped me realize basically that. And I was also like trying to work through like money blocks. And I was like, okay, I feel like I'm holding myself back from like hitting this next level financially. Like I feel like I have such a blind spot. I was like, I cannot tell what's there. And I really feel like with money blocks specifically, and I just wrote a post about this yesterday, like that, I think that's a reason why that's one of the things people struggle with the most, because I think we have the biggest and the most blind spots with money, because there are actually so many stories and so many layers to our relationship with money and like the beliefs we have about money. And like they're so nuanced and they go so deep into the subconscious, like with a lot of things in my life. Like obviously I still love having coaches and outside perspectives, and they are so necessary and they help so much. 4:44 on the clock right now, even though it's not actually the time. It's on the microwave, but my computer says it's 2:09. You know, even though those are still super helpful and super necessary, I do feel like also like I'm able to help myself move through a lot of things on my own. But with money, that was one thing where I just was like coming up against such I just could not see. I was like, I cannot get past like my surface level stories. I can't get underneath. I know there's something underneath, but I like physically can't get there, like, or like mentally, you know? And so in the sessions, yeah, I realized that one of the biggest blocks for me was like the fear of not having money. And it, on the surface, I thought like the fear of not having money was because like I wouldn't feel safe. And then we like went deeper with it and I realized, oh, it's actually not, I'm not worried about not being safe. Like I'm actually not worried about the money running out. Like I realized I was like, you know, I didn't like have a consistent source of income for a very long time and it never ran out and I was like, fine, you know? I realized I was actually afraid of being miserable again. Right? So I actually wasn't afraid of like not having money. I was afraid of not being happy. Because when I didn't have money consistently coming in, I was getting the money I needed, but I was super stressed all the time. Or when I had money coming in, I was at a job that I hated. So that was like a huge epiphany for me. If I was like, oh, I'm actually not afraid of not having money. I know I'll figure out a way to get money. I'm afraid that if I like don't have the money coming in, I'm going to be super stressed and I'm not going to be happy, or I'm going to have to get a job that I hate again and I'm going to be miserable again. And I was like, you know, basically afraid of ending up back in that place. So that was a huge, huge realization for me. And then we took it a step further and like connected it to, you know, like that when I was in that place, like healing that energy that was still inside basically, and like that past self. So long story short, that was the purge that I had initiated around that full moon. And I was literally, you guys, like purging the entire week, every single day, like in all different ways. And I won't go into details. I don't know. I feel like we don't really see or hear people talking about the physical aspect of like emotional and like energetic purges a lot. But like I feel like if you don't have some kind of physical like release, whether that's like, it can be as simple as crying or yeah, like just movement, shaking, you know, or it can be like a huge, just like, you know, energy movement that you feel. I don't even know how to articulate that. Or it can be like passing parasites. It could be getting sick. It could be throwing up. It could be like tied to your, you know, menstrual cycle and like your period. Like there are so many ways. Like it could, like a lot of the times I feel like it looks like a pain coming up or like an illness or like symptoms coming up, but it could also be these other forms of like actual release out of your body. Like, and it can happen so many ways. And I'm just like, yeah, like something like to think about is like, if you, I actually was going to make a post about this too. If you are like moving through things or think you're moving through things or you're trying to move through things and release things and clear things, especially like energetically, which like what other way is there? Are you having those physical symptoms alongside the release? In any way, shape, or form, it doesn't have to be super intense, you know, but like, are you having those? Because if you're not, you're probably not really releasing that much. You know, again, it doesn't have to be a huge thing. Like I had the client the other day and we did like a bunch of tapping and she was just like really like, she started laughing a bunch and then like did some like shaking and stuff like that. And like, she like felt the energy moving. So it doesn't have to be again, like a huge, it also like doesn't have to be like a negative, like feeling release, but like there definitely should be, at least like in my opinion, this is like my understanding of like how healing works. some like kind of physical representation of like that you're actually releasing and moving and transmuting energy. So anyway, yeah, that whole week, it was just like, oh shit, yeah, like this is literally, and like at this one point in time, basically there was something that usually like helps me purge a lot of energy, I'll say. And after that experience, I literally felt, it was like kind of at like the epitome of like this purge. And I literally felt like almost that past version of myself, like take over my body. I felt all of that energy come up. It was like in my chest, and it was crazy because like I literally felt for like a little bit, like I was like, oh my God, I feel like I'm back there. And I didn't even like actually remember how bad it felt to be there until this moment, like, cause I hadn't felt that way in a long time, you know? And I literally felt it in my chest. It was dark. It was heavy. It was like just this overwhelming feeling of loneliness and just of like not enough and wanting to push love away. Like, and like I was with Sindri, and I felt that urge to just like push him away, tell him to like go away. Like I'll do it on my, like everything, all the urges and all the feelings that I had during that time of wanting to just like isolate and like feeling so alone came up through me. And I was so grateful, energy moving, so grateful for the awareness that I have now to know like that, oh my God, so much energy moving right now as I'm saying this, to know that that wasn't me. Like those feelings weren't me, and they weren't how I really felt. It was just energy that was moving through. It was just something I was witnessing. You know, it's coming back to that context, not content. And I felt so much for myself too, because I was like, oh my God, like in the past when I felt this way, I didn't have that awareness. Like I actually didn't realize at that time. I thought like this was me. Whew. And so that was like a really crazy moment. Like literally basically felt all the darkness, like take over my body. And I'm just so grateful that I like was able to witness what was happening and be aware of what was happening. And I knew how to like sit through it and let it move. And then I just like sobbed and sobbed and sobbed. And I'm so grateful Sindri was there. And honestly, I think, yeah, that's like, I don't think this would have happened if he wasn't there. So I'm so grateful that this like timing aligned with me being with him too, because I think that was necessary to bring on that release and for me to be able to be in a space where I could process it and like feel so safe and supported and loved. And yeah, it was like crazy. So that happened. And then I felt a lot better after that, but I was still basically like purging in some way, shape or form for like the next like week or like few days after that. That was like halfway through the week, I think. And that was wild. So I felt like I needed to just like share that, because I feel like that that was like a huge part of like everything. Like I've been basically like just riding such a high since then. And I feel like I can't talk about that without, yeah, like really like sharing like what it actually took to get here. And I will say like, it wasn't like I went in this huge low with that. Like that whole release, you know, everything that got brought on, like I wasn't in this huge low. It was kind of just like these individual experiences where I was just releasing more. And I was like fine in between, you know? So it's not like I was in this huge down and then I came up. But again, I want to like just emphasize, like I really truly feel, and the more and more that I experience this and like the deeper I go into my healing, my growth and like somatic work, and that's why I'm bringing it so much more into my work with my clients too, is because it's like, I think that's truly what's required to like shift. And the shifts that I feel now, like I am literally a different person. Like I wrote about this on my stories the other day. Like I can't even articulate the difference in how I feel, because it's just like, I'm literally feel like reprogrammed, like on a cellular level. Like the confidence that I feel like in myself and in my business, I couldn't even have accessed this before if I tried. It's just not something you can think your way into. It's literally like an energetic shift of like, it's just, again, programmed like into my cells, like like energetically, my energetic makeup, like my frequency is just different. You know what I mean? And I just want to like emphasize that, like, I really don't think you can have a shift that big, like a quantum leap, whatever you want to call it, without those somatic energetic releases or like transmutations or shifts or purges, because yeah, that's just, I don't know, that's how I look at it. So I felt like that was important to share. Anyway, back to, I went through, that was like going into vacation. So then I went into vacation And vacation was, yeah. Oh, yeah. Because I was saying basically like, it was nice because the timing aligned with like me and like releasing that whole like experience and that time in my life of like being so low. And then like having this experience with my family that was like, the total opposite. It's like, oh, we're all together again, but now it's happy and I'm in this total different place. And it was like really nice. And I think it was just so divine that was like literally right on the other side of that. And yeah, so that was really nice. And yeah, just another thing about being on vacation was like, I was so grateful for this life I've created and like for the fact that I'm an entrepreneur now and that I have so much freedom in my schedule. I was literally able to take 3 weeks off. Like 1 week was at the lake house and the next 2 weeks was basically just like Sindri was there and we had a lot of stuff going on with like travel and family and we spent a weekend at my dad's and everything like that. And I just knew, like, I was like, I don't think I'm going to like really feel like going back to work until I get back to Iceland. We're going to have a lot going on and I just want to like spend the time with him. He's not going to be working. And I was able to just take 3 weeks off work, and like I didn't have to ask anyone. I didn't have to get approved. I just could do it. And it didn't even hurt my business at all. And I didn't even feel guilty about taking time off or not working. I didn't even go on social media for most of it. And I didn't even like, it was just so chill. And there were a lot of conversations from other people, like in my family, obviously, because not everyone has this situation of like, they need to come later, they need to leave earlier, or I'll have to go back to work after this. And I was just like, wow, I'm like so grateful that I literally don't have to think like that. That's not even a thing, I was thinking like, man, yeah, it would really suck to like be on this awesome vacation and then have to like go back to work the very next day at a job that I hated, which is like the life I used to live. And now it's like, well, one, I don't have to go right back to work. I can ease back into it. And two, I'm actually excited to go back to work. I actually kind of miss work. I actually love work. And so it was just like, yeah, and just kind of like, I feel like I'm kind of just like, damn, I love my life, like that's really kind of how I've been this past month. It's just like, really, I feel like I'm like reaping the benefits or just like, yeah, just feeling so much gratitude for everything and really, really like, damn, like I did that. Like I really did that. And I feel like even like it's easy to discount, how much you change in your own life, cause even I can feel as I'm saying this right now that I'm not even really fully feeling into like how much gratitude I really like and how much I did, like every single change, like looking back, I'm like, oh, well, it wasn't that much. It was pretty easy, but like, it was a lot, like I made so many hard choices and yeah, just went through so much and like committed to myself and my growth and my dreams so much and just like really put myself first and just decided like, no, I'm not settling anymore for any of this shit. Like I'm not settling for limited vacation time and PTO. That's bullshit to me and I'm not doing it, like I'm not, I ignored the like advice and like warnings of so many people who were like worried about my finances and this and that. And like, I was like, no, this isn't aligned. I'm dropping it. This feels aligned. I'm going for it. I don't care how risky or crazy it seems to you. I'm doing it. And I almost feel like maybe I'm kind of discounting it in a way like subconsciously because, not subconsciously because if I'm saying it, it's conscious, but like without really meaning to because that's almost so normalized to me now. Like making those kind of choices and following my intuition and like taking leaps of faith and not playing it safe. That's so normalized to me now that it like doesn't feel like that big of a deal. But I remember at the time how big of a deal all of those choices were. And even like as recently as January, like I was still going through so much shit, like so much personal healing and growth with my business and everything. And just like it feels like a literally different lifetime. Like I am on such a different timeline. It's wild. So yeah, just like so much gratitude. Was there anything else that I wanted to say about vacation? Yeah, basically we were at a lake house. It was gorgeous. You guys saw like those windows and everything I posted. It was so beautiful. And I kept saying to Sindri, I was like, oh my God, we are totally going to have a house like this. It was just super fun. We played a lot of games. We cooked dinners at home. We went to the beach. I built a sand castle. Like just did so much fun stuff. What else did we do? I don't know. It was just fun and vibey. And I love being with people. you know, and that's like the one thing I feel like if I were to honestly say like the one area of my life that is like, I feel like needs the most work, I guess I'll say, or like is like the most not where I want it to be is like, yeah, ironically, I was just talking about how I used to feel so lonely, but it's like, it's kind of loneliness. Not that I feel really lonely on a daily basis, but it's just like community. Like I don't have people around me as much as I like prefer or like as much as I used to. You know, like obviously Sindri doesn't live with me. I live alone and I grew up in a house full of people, you know, and I'm definitely someone who prefers to be around people. I get energy being around people. I like to have people around, even like as much as like I'm okay. You know, guys know I don't really like to like point to human design things or things like that to like validate things about my personality. And I don't like when people do that because I'm like, you can just say it. But I do find it interesting that my human design profile or whatever is like 2-4, which is basically like you're like half a total hermit and like half a huge extrovert, which is like totally me. So yeah, that's like kind of how I am. And so I just don't have that many, like opportunities to be around people. And like, because all of my friends are long distance, like all of my really close friends, except for one, basically. My dad lives far, Sindri lives far. And yeah, I don't really have like a friend group. I have like a bunch of individual friends. So that's something that I like to get kind of vulnerable. That's something that I've been wanting for like a while. And I definitely know some ties and some things that are probably like related to that and like reasons why I like don't have that or why I'm like yearning for that I have to still like dig into further. But long story short, it was nice to like be in a house full of people because I love that. It's like where I thrive. I just love having people around all the time. So that was really fun. And then it was also really nice because like my one brother who lives in DC was there. And so we don't like get to spend that much time with him anymore. So that was really fun. And also it was cute because like I brought my Oracle cards, like those new decks that I got, and I was like pulling cards for people. And that was like cute. And yeah, I don't know. It was an awesome, wholesome time. And we were going to go to the fair on the last day of vacation, like the day we came back. We were going to cap it off with the fair because we go to the fair every year and it's like a tradition. It's so fun. And then we realized we got the dates wrong and we actually couldn't go. So that was kind of a bummer. But we ended up doing like a makeshift family last vacation day. And we played this game Yahtzee, which is like Yahtzee, but with like big dice that you roll in the yard. And I don't know if you saw me post on Instagram, but I got literally 5 Yahtzees in that game. And I was like, lucky girl syndrome. Hello. Like it was wild. We also have this thing called park golf, which if you've ever heard of it, I had never heard of it. It's basically like a in between of mini golf and regular golf. So it was kind of cool. So you're literally just in a park. And it's kind of like mini golf in the sense that like it's not that serious as regular golf. And it's like the holes are a lot easier, a lot shorter. And you're like playing basically with like a putter club and like a ball, like a bigger ball. But it's not like mini golf where there's like not a ton of obstacles and it's literally just out like in the park, like on grass. And it also like you're able, like it's farther than mini golf. So you can actually, you get like the fun of like a big hit, but it's also not like regular golf where it's so far away you can't even like see the holes. Like if you don't know what you're doing and you don't know golf, like it's still fun and you can like feel like you can actually do decently well, but it's also a little more serious than mini golf. So like, I don't know. It was also like you get the advantage too of like being outside and stuff and like not like on a course per se, like, you know, like a constructed course like mini golf. So I don't know. It was actually ended up being really cool and fun. And then I don't remember what else we did, but it was basically a really fun time. I'll get off vacation now because let's see. We are almost 40 minutes in. Okay, we're not doing too bad on time. So yeah, that was vacation. That was like all my reflections on vacation, that whole full moon release I had. Yeah, then Sindri and I basically came home and after the fair, we were just kind of chilling. I don't even remember what we did that week. Oh yeah, we also went to Sad Summer Fest, which is like it was like 2000s, like emo, kind of like pop punk bands, like one day festival. We went to that and that was fun when we got back. And then we went to my dad's for the weekend, which was super fun. Got to spend some quality time with my dad and my stepmom. And then he drove us to the airport and then we flew back to Iceland. So it was like a great 3 weeks. We got to Iceland. Since I've been in Iceland, so I've been in Iceland now for like a week and a half. So I was like, okay, getting back to work. And the main challenge I have when I come here is my sleep. My sleep gets so messed up because of the time change and the jet lag. And I felt this the most the last time I was here. I think because I've actually like gotten my sleep to a pretty good place at home and to where I normally get up like pretty early, like around 8 or something. And I get here and I'm so jet lagged. And then I have this like conflict of like, obviously I don't want to deprive myself of too much sleep because I don't function well when I don't get the sleep that I need. So I don't want to deprive myself too much sleep because I want to be obviously in like good energy and a good headspace and like, to enjoy my time with Sindri while I'm here. But at the same time, like, I don't want to give in to the jet lag and get my schedule super off because it's like, then we got here and I was like, okay, I'm exhausted. Like we landed at 5 a.m. And so I let myself sleep in and then I could not fall asleep the next night till like 2 a.m. And then I'm like waking up throughout the night and it's just not good. And then I can't get up. Like I want to get up at 8 and then I have less time to work during the day. And it's just like annoying. So I've been in this basically like constant battle, like the whole past like week and a half of like trying to like get enough sleep and also trying to not sleep in too late and like trying to go to bed and like fall asleep and not like get in bed and like just not be able to fall asleep, which is like never a problem that I have. I've never had issues falling asleep. And like also just waking up so much throughout the night, which normally never happens either. Normally, especially when I'm with Sindri, I sleep way better because he's like cuddling me. So that's been an annoying thing. But other than that, it's been great. Obviously, I mean, I just love being with Sindri and we're now getting to like almost the last week of our trip. So like was a little sad this weekend. We also had like such a perfect week when we did that glimmer hike. It was beautiful. It was so fun. It was like an interactive hike. Like you walked across a log on a river and we had to like actually walk through a river, like a pretty long stretch of river. And it was super cold and we had to take our shoes off. It went up to like your knees and the rocks hurt so bad on your feet. But if you step on like the big rocks, it was slippery. So it was just like, it was like a fun little challenge, like I felt like I was really out in the wilderness. Not really, but it was a fun hike and it was beautiful, beautiful. It was a lot of uphill, but it was gorgeous. Definitely one of my favorite hike I think we've done so far in Iceland. And we just had like a really, really amazing weekend at the cabin. And so then like at the end of the weekend, I think it was kind of starting to hit me like, now this weekend's over. So we only have 2 weekends left, but this coming weekend, his friend has a wedding. So it's like, we're not really getting like a full quality time weekend. And so then I'm like, basically it feels like we don't really get that weekend. And so then it already feels like, well, the next weekend is already our last weekend and then I'm leaving. So like, makes it feel like the time is almost over. Cause especially the difference when we're here versus like when we're home in Buffalo is we're both working when we're here. So like he's gone during the day. Cause again, he can't really work from home for the most part. So we get a lot less time together already. Like when we're home in Buffalo, we get to spend like all the time together, which is amazing. And yeah, then here it's kind of a big shift, which is good in a way because if we were to go from like spending like every waking moment together to like nothing, it would hit a lot harder. So this is kind of like a nice transition. But yeah, basically it's just like we start to get again of like, when are we getting approved? Da da da. And like, I feel like I made a lot of progress in terms of like my energy with that a couple months ago. I think I talked about that on here. I'm not sure. Like back in May. And I really felt like I was okay. I felt like I really made a good shift with this. And I kind of got like a ping where it's like, I feel like it's happening in August. I feel like it's happening. But now that we're together, I almost feel like, I don't know, like more resistance to it again because I'm like realizing again, like how bad I want it. I don't know if that makes sense, but now I'm like, we don't have that much time left in August, but I'm still, I don't know. I have had this feeling like it might get approved around our anniversary, but I don't know. I feel like I'm one of my like to-dos or like my goals for the rest of the year is like, I may have mentioned this as well at some point. I really want to like work on honing my like just intuition, my like not my intuition, like just with my, getting guidance because I'm pretty good with that, but just like my kind of like psychic gifts and like being able to just like be more intentional with my intuition, like receiving guidance and everything like that, as opposed to just like being really in tune with my intuition for like asking specific questions and making decisions, if that makes sense. And I feel like I have this kind of like unintentional like psychicness to where like I can feel if something's going to happen or something's not going to happen. But then it's like, I don't necessarily know what to do with that. I'm like, okay, it's not going to happen. I'm not sure exactly how to shift it. Or, okay, it's going to happen. I can't tell you like why, I just know it's going to, and I've had that like with multiple experiences. So like right now, if I try to tune into that energy, it's kind of like a little in the middle, but it's more leaning towards, I don't feel like it's happening yet. Like I don't feel like I'm there. It's almost like I can feel if I'm aligned to that frequency or not. Like I can feel if it's in my field or if it's not there yet. And I don't feel like it's here yet. So I feel like I need to do something else around that. And I can feel like my impatience, which is like, I know a sign. But anyway, yeah, I know like you guys are all like very invested in our like situation, which is very sweet. So I want to give you guys an update on that. Kind of, there's no update, but that's kind of like my update on like how I'm feeling about it. It's just like literally every time we're together is more and more perfect. Just like that I will say, like it feels more and more like normal when we're together and just like, this is like life. It feels less like of like, special and rare, which I think is a good sign. But at the same time, that almost makes it even harder to be like, oh no, we have to go back to like being apart, like when it's just like literally so perfect. It just feels like, okay, we're meant to be together, not apart. So that's that. But for the most part, staying positive and just like so grateful. Like I feel literally so grateful every day. And again, I feel like this is honestly that same theme of like the capacity for joy, because we do say a lot when we're together. We're like, oh my God, imagine if life is this perfect all the time, And so I feel like there is almost an element of like, damn, life is literally so freaking good when we're together. Like, it's almost like, how could I even like, feels like too good to be true. If we had this all the time, life would just be like too unreal good. So I feel like that is maybe like where I really need to do the work of like expanding my capacity for joy even more to where it feels like, yeah, life actually can be that good all the time. It's like, my life's pretty dang good. I was just telling you, like, yeah, my life's amazing. But then it's like, wow, it could even be more amazing on top of this. Like, Sindri could live with me all the time, or I could be a millionaire too, like it's damn, like it's a lot to expand, to hold. So that's kind of where we're at with all of that. Is there anything else to say on like the love life front? I don't think so. I mean, we have that episode coming up next week. So if you haven't already, send in any questions that you want to hear Sindri and me answer, like whether about our relationship. I know like a lot of you have already said you want to hear, of course, us talk about long distance and like everything, tips on that and how we've gotten through that. If you want to know any details about like how we met, or if you have specific questions for Sindri and just about like any, obviously you guys get to hear my opinions all the time, but if you want to hear about like his perspective on anything or just learn anything about him or us or just topics you want to hear us talk about, send them my way as soon as possible, basically. I'm not sure when we're going to record it, probably like early next week. So as soon as possible, send those questions my way before next week and we'll try to cover all those. I'm really excited for that episode. I'm so excited he's going to record with me. And yeah, so you'll get all the rest of the updates with that there. And then that's basically personal. I talked a lot about business already. I guess anything else I want to say on business, I mean, things are just thriving. My business is honestly like been literally blowing up over the past couple months. And again, I feel like it's just so directly related to all of the energetic work I've been doing. That, and of course, like consistency, like always say, like small consistent changes and actions over time. And I literally have not like given up or stopped on my business since I started. I just had my 1-year anniversary. I literally officially launched my business last July, 2023. And there's not been a day, honestly, that I haven't shown up that wasn't intentional or that, wasn't like I was sick or something, I've been pretty consistent the entire time, and I've been building momentum. I've been building community that entire time. I've been healing and growing that entire time. I've been learning and like honing my skills and my craft the entire time. I've been like deepening my understanding and my knowledge of business, of sales, of marketing, of all of that, of like actually coaching and like, again, honing my own practice and like the methods I use with clients and just everything. Like I feel like it's just really, really goes to show how important it is to stay consistent. And just like, it's a really great reminder for me and for you hopefully listening, like consistency is key and it does pay off. it does pay off. And I feel like it often does look like that, where quote unquote, nothing's happening. And then all of a sudden a ton of stuff is happening and things blow up. And it's like, no, really, it's been all happening behind the scenes. And I will say too, there have been like signs throughout. Like, I wouldn't say it's looked like quote unquote, nothing is happening throughout the past year. Like, I've had clear signs of progress throughout, whether it was like internal shifts, whether it was like, oh, I'm getting more engagement on my posts, or, oh, I'm getting more free calls now, or, oh, now I'm getting more, this and that. And, I was just thinking like it was funny because I did like a reflection for my coach yesterday of like all the progress I've had in the past 90 days. And it took me literally an hour. There were like over 30 things I wrote out of like wins and progress, because I really do feel like the past 90-day block has been the biggest shift. And that's why I said I feel like the energetic work's been huge, because that's when I really started leaning into embodiment work and energy work, and also working with an embodiment coach in conjunction with my business coach, and leaning really more into like somatic work on my own. And yeah, I feel like it's definitely a combination. But what was I going to say? Oh yeah. But like, for example, of like how much things have shifted just, within the past 6 months. It's like last December, I remember I was selling free one-on-one calls, and I booked 4 calls in the month. I sold them for like I was like advertising them for the entire month. And I booked 4 free calls total. And that was huge for me. That was a huge win at the time. Okay. Fast forward to this month, I'm selling one-on-one calls again, but I'm selling paid calls. And I've booked 3 or 4. 3. I think I booked, 4. 3 or 4 one-on-one calls paid already within the past week. Okay. So just for like context of like, that was a huge win for me at the time, selling 4 free calls, or like getting 4 free calls like on my calendar for a month of advertising them. And now fast forward to selling one-on-one calls again. Now they're paid, and I booked the same number of calls in a fourth of the time. So I just felt like that was like a cool measure, like a cool example to kind of show you. But yeah, I mean, things are just amazing. I feel more confident than I ever have, like I said, especially in like my coaching and my ability to get my clients results. Like, I feel like my clients have just been having such insane results lately. It's just like, oh my God, like I literally can't deny like how epic my work is. It's literally kind of like that. Like, damn, it's magic. Like, they are giving me glowing reviews, and I'm like literally witnessing them just like have these results and these shifts and like manifesting like crazy. And they're literally quantum leaping. I'm like, I literally feel like you just quantum leaped in that call. And they're like, I literally did. Multiple of them have told me I feel like I just lost 50 pounds after the call, like 50 energetic pounds. Like, one of the girls just literally manifested an apartment. She like wanted an apartment in the city so bad. When she came into my program, she was like, oh my God, like this would be mind blowing if I could manifest this. And then she literally manifested it like less than a month later. And she didn't even think it was like in her reality in the near future. Then she like manifested $2,000, like just by like literally setting the intention to manifest $2,000. Just like crazy things. One of my girls was like still like in coaching and like kind of hesitant to like fully go in on her like creative gifts. And now she's like realized that she really wants to fully commit to writing. And she's like halfway through her book. Just crazy stuff. And one of my girls is about to launch her one-on-one coaching in the fall. Just like amazing, amazing, amazing results. Another one of my girls was like having such a block with posting. I keep saying another one of my girls, another one of my clients, someone I worked with. They're all my besties. She was like having such a block with posting reels, and she was like, I can't get everyone into the right energy to post content. And now she's posted like talking head reel like every day this week. That's what she wanted to do. She wanted to post more like talking head reels. And she was like, I just feel like I can't get in the right energy to post them. She had a really big block around it. We cleared that. Now she's been posting reels, and they're amazing. So it's just been epic. And like, again, I feel like I'm just like tooting my own horn nonstop, but it's kind of like, I feel like I can't not. It's just been amazing. And I hope it's inspiring for you. I definitely want to be an example of what's possible. And that's why I talk about all this. Obviously I don't talk about it to like brag or be like, oh, look at me and how amazing I am and how amazing my life is. It's because like I said, like I was in this totally different place. And I completely flipped my life around in the past 2 years, and even in the past year, even in the past 6 months. And if I can do it, you can do it. So that's kind of what's been going on in business. I can officially say that I'm making consistent income in my business, which is amazing. I wanted to say that for so long. My income was very inconsistent before. And yeah, basically since June, I've been making consistent income in my business, and I already have like 6 months of revenue already booked out. So that's incredible. I already have pre-sold a spot for my mastermind. I literally closed, I'll say. I literally closed over a $4,000 package on vacation. I felt like that was just the epitome of like, this in my life now. Just casually like closing $4,000 sales on vacation, just like with a voice note, like incredible. And yeah, things just honestly feel easy. Oh, the last thing I wanted to say, we're getting up to an hour. So the last thing I wanted to say is like the shift I feel energetically in like my relationship to work and my business, like being here in Iceland, is so massive, because I realized, and I wouldn't have been able to really recognize this, I don't think, without actually being in a different place. But because I feel so differently now, I'm able to look back at the past times I've come to Iceland, because I feel like when I come here, I start to like put a lot more pressure on myself around business, or I feel like I'm gonna get so much done because like Sindri's at work, you know, and obviously I don't have anything else that's in my like regular day-to-day life going on here. So it's basically, I'm just like work and Sindri time. Like that's all I do. So I feel like, okay, I have so much time to work. I'm gonna get like da-da-da. And I realize, because I don't feel this way this time, that in the past, I have like then had this just like underlying feeling of just heaviness around it, and just feeling so behind and so much pressure and so much stress around that, because I'm like, I feel like I have so much to do, or I have so much time, so I have to get so much done. And like, it just felt forced and like not good and not bad. I mean, like the first time was when I first started my business. That was bad. I was like, even working all through the night was terrible. And after that, I was like, I'm never doing that again. But I definitely like for the most part, not 100% of the time, like, because it depends with calls and things like that. Things sometimes get pushed till passenger gets home because of the time change and stuff too. But for the most part, like, I basically work during the day while Sindri's gone. He gets home and then I'm done working. And like, it's so much more easier now for me to like turn it off and like just not feel that lack and feel that constant feeling of behind. I'm not doing enough and I'm not good enough. And I need to like try more and work harder. It's just so nice to notice, like, I just feel so much lighter now. Just like my relationship with my business and work feels so much lighter. It just feels easy. I feel like I'm doing enough. I know I'm doing enough. I'm just like, yeah, don't have that forced, like resistant, heavy energy. It just feels light and easy and good. And it's just amazing. And I feel like that's a great point to end on. So that's kind of our bestie chat life update. That hour flew by. I knew it would. I don't even know what I talked about. But yeah, of course I specifically made a cup of cacao to have for this episode to like be cozy. And then I was just talking so much I didn't even drink any of it. Ooh, that's good. Oh, that's so good, actually. Oh, I actually want to talk about the cacao, too. It's like, that's not really that important of a story, though. But basically, like, I was waiting for my cacao to arrive, and, like, it got delayed a day, and it was, like, gonna arrive, like, the day we were leaving, and basically, like, I missed it by, like, 3 hours. We had to leave, and I missed it by 3 hours, and I was like, I'm not gonna have cacao in Iceland. Oh, my God, how am I gonna live without my cacao? And I was so upset, and I was like, okay, I'm just being tested. I have to, like, be accepting, like, this or something better. You know, and I was like, just be open. And I ended up looking up like, hey, I wonder if there's an Icelandic company that does cacao. Because the thing is, like, I couldn't get it shipped here because like the shipping would take way too long. So the only way I could get it shipped here, like in time for like that I was going to be here, would be if it was an Icelandic company, because it's like local shipping. So I like just looked it up kind of on a whim, and lo and behold, there was a company that sold ceremonial cacao, and it's like a husband and a wife, and they're like actually so cute. I followed them on Instagram, and I ordered from them, and I got cacao, and it actually got here like the second day we were here. And so I haven't been without my cacao. And, you know, just goes to show, like, I knew during that time, I was like feeling disappointed, but I was like, you know, I know how it works. I know it says there's something better. And I'm like, honestly, so happy to support this husband and wife company, because they're adorable. And I'm like, you know, maybe this all even just happened so that I could like give them this sale, you know, who knows? And the cacao is good. So anyway, that was like a fun little story I wanted to share. But okay, it's been an hour. I'm going to hop off here. Thank you so much for listening. It was so nice to catch up. As always, I know this is like a one-sided conversation, so please send me a message. Let me know your thoughts on anything we talked about. Let me know what's new with you. I love to hear your updates too. And yeah, if you've been listening to the podcast, thank you so much. I think this is episode 16. That was one of my huge wins that I was reflecting on too, was like launched my podcast within the past 90 days and we're already at almost 500 downloads, which is incredible. When I first launched, I made my goal. Actually, I think in my journal at the beginning of the year, I made my goal 300 downloads, which I hit in like immediately. And then like after I kind of started getting like listens and stuff, I was like, okay, like maybe I'll make my goal like 500 downloads by the end of the year. And I was like, I think that might be too small. Like I'm going to make it 1,000. So my goal is 1,000 right now, but honestly, I feel like we might surpass that. So thank you so much again for listening. It really, really, really means the world to me. It makes me so happy. Like I literally get to just like talk for an hour about my life and you guys want to listen and you enjoy listening and it makes me so happy. So I love you so much. Please reach out to me. Let me know what's new. Let me know what you've been up to this past month. If you have questions about anything, if you want to learn more about anything. And also those one-on-one sessions, they're on sale for the rest of the month. So like about one more week, basically. They're on a huge discount and honestly, I don't think I'm going to offer one-on-one sessions at this much of a discount. Again, they're over $200 off right now. And just with the insane results that people are getting from them, I just feel like they're worth more. And I don't know if I'm going to offer this much of a discount again. So definitely grab it while you can. It's literally insane, like life-changing quantum leap shifts. This is literally the work that has like literally made these changes that I've just talked about, like gotten me to this point. Like your life can change in 75 minutes. I'm not bullshitting you. Like literal quantum leaps in this one 75-minute session for like $100. Literally insane. The value that you can get. And it's only available for one more week. So if you want to grab a one-on-one session, I also am not going to be probably even offering single sessions like this for a while because I'm going to be launching the mastermind, which is a 6-month program next month. And then I don't know what I'm going to be doing after that, but I won't be doing really like kind of easy one-off, kind of like get a little taste of my work sessions and like have epic transformation offer like this for a while. So if you've been considering or curious about working with me at all, and they are, I'm advertising them specifically as abundance accelerators, like for business owners to help really like get clear on your business plan, align you to the frequency of your goals with your business and really clear any blocks to prevent you from really getting your momentum and abundance flowing going into fall. So it's really kind of like a ramp up so your business can really blow up. My voice is going away. Come fall. But I have had people booking sessions that just like want help with manifestation in general or just help clearing any kind of blocks. I've done sessions with people who are wanting help with weight loss, self-love, living situation, just career in general, all kinds of stuff. So like seriously, if my work resonates with you at all, if my vibe, my energy resonates with you at all, I would love to have a session with you and spend some time together and just help you quantum leap into the most amazing version of you and this incredible life that is calling to you. So if you're interested in that, send me a DM before the end of the month, before the deal expires. With that said, if you liked this episode, if you love the podcast, if you want to help support the podcast, don't forget to rate and go leave a review. You guys, I have a lot of ratings, which I'm very, very grateful for. I'm not saying I'm not grateful. I'm so grateful for everyone that has rated the podcast, but I want some reviews on Apple Podcasts. Like I want some words. I want some, people, like I want some messages. So if you're a loyal listener, it would mean the world to me if you would go and leave a little message and a little review on Apple Podcasts saying what you love about it. And if you do, screenshot it and send me a message on Instagram and maybe there'll be a little something in it for you as well, because the better it gets, the better it gets. And good karma and all that. All right. Hope you have an amazing rest of your day or night wherever you are. Thank you so much for listening. I love you. Don't forget to stop, take a deep breath and smile. And I will talk to you next week with Sindri. Bye.